Hello viewers, it's Super GT here. Welcome back to Forza Motorsport 7, or as we shall now call it, Forza Destruction Derby 7, because I think that is a slightly more suitable name. So we're going to drive past a couple of guys here. We're in the Lamborghini Diablo SV. Now this thing is an absolute rocket in a straight line. McLaren F1 in very deep, take someone out, and then I'm going to get collected as well. Pretty much the entire pack in one big bundle there through turn 1. Now as I rejoin, almost causing another massive pile up there. Luckily I didn't collect anyone as I just really got on the throttle too early, or too much, spinning across the track. But luckily we are away in 4th place. Now this thing is an absolute missile. You see here, against the F50. The F50, from what I've seen, is one of the overall best cars in this class. And I've turned in way too early there. Massive corner cut, like a proper level 99 noob right there, I must say. And you can see there's a McLaren F1. And when you're going past a McLaren F1 on a straight, you know that the car is very good in a straight line. Into the first corner, and I've braked way too late. Normally happens around a lot of these little quirky configurations. When you go into the first turn, I don't actually know where the hell I'm braking, and especially because this is the first actual race I did in this car, so I don't actually know how good the brakes are. So trying to fight off this McLaren. He's going to try it around the outside, but I'm just going to get the run into the left before there's a big tyre barrier in the way, and then filtering into second place. The leader has got quite a big gap already. He's already around the final corner, and he's going to start driving away while I'm slowing down. That gap is getting ever bigger. And actually that turned out to be about as much as happened in that race, because see, they're finishing second in the end. Now this, well, what can I say about this? This is honestly going to be one of the worst first laps you'll ever see. And already, before we've actually started, or before we've actually crossed the start line, now we've crossed the start line. So plenty of carnage already. I think that all that was, one person didn't start, or two people didn't start, and then people going into the back of them, and it triggered all of that. So down in 19th, we've got a lot of work to do. I've gone to the F50 now, so it's my go-to car really for this division. Someone on the right side getting flipped over. They just couldn't work it out between themselves. I'm around the outside of a McLaren. I was so afraid that I was going to get punted wide, but actually it turned out to be a fairly clean but then no. I thought it was too good to be true. So he went for a very silly lunge into the next turn. That move was never on. Now coming through here, the Jaguar... oh man, I mean, what can I say about that? He just obviously just didn't see that there was a massive tyre wall there. Just drove straight into it, bounced off, and, well, I became a victim once again. Into the hairpin. Can we have a cleaner corner here? The Porsche is going to brake way too late into the back of the McLaren. So it's clean for me, I guess, but not for those two. And they gain 2 positions out of that, up into 15th. A high of 15, wow, amazing. Now the top, let's say about 12 or 13, they've got a big gap now over us. So I've got a lot of work to do. Actually, no they haven't. They're just all going to spin off. So 2 guys off there, 3 guys off, overtaking 3 people. And we're going to come up to this guy. He's going to move to the right hand side, we're going to go to the left. And then obviously it just hasn't seen me. I gave him more than a car whip from the inside. I'm going to do a couple of barrel rolls into the barrier. I'm upside down. It's an absolute disaster. It honestly could not have gone worse. The amount of collisions in this first lap. Wow. I don't think I've honestly... And again, look at that. The 2 Ferraris having a collision. Is he going to collide with me as I go past? Thankfully not. Just getting past before we go through the kink. That's got to be one of the first lap disasters of all time. For me anyway. I mean, I don't often have many that bad. There are quite a lot of collisions in there, unfortunately. That guy almost collected me. I saw his headlights go flying past, going way wide there to avoid that guy coming back on the track. When it's this bad, you just got to be so careful and just give people so much space if possible. So I'm up into 13th. Can we get into the top 10 at least? Looking at the map, the race is spread out so massively already. And that's a shame, because I mean, when you got those big pile-ups in the first corner, that really does spread out the race massively, and then you got often little chance of catching up with the lead. I mean, the lead is actually already going down towards the hairpin already. So he's a good 30 seconds ahead. That's crazy how much that's opened up. Now this is going to be just a very honest, clean overtake up the inside into turn 2. The Jag gives me space, he respects it, and I respect him on the outside. And we drive and hold our line for a corner. Is he going to go for a silly lunge into the second corner? No, he's not. That's good to see, actually. So a clean overtake. We progress to the end of lap number 2. So I'm up into 11th place, looking at 10th. So potential here for a top 10, woohoo. And then he moves to the right hand side, getting a poor exit in the Diablo. Is it the Countach? I think that is the Countach. Driving unnecessarily close to me, but he has got the straight line speed. I think the F50 slightly lacking in the straight line, but he does have the grip. I'll go a little bit deep here. He's going to go very deep as well. But you see, it just got so much grip, bags of grip. Easily drive around the outside. The Porsche's all over the place. Not sure which side he was going. He was fishtailing all over the place. I opted to go left and just about managed to get the move done. And I don't think he's going to get a run back into the first corner. So we can take our normal racing line. A tyre going flying across the track there. Now through the first turn, a little bit wide actually. I think I was a bit distracted by this car ahead. The F40 trying to spin over there, or try to roll over. Obviously having a bit of contact with this F50 up ahead. I'm up into 7th. So I was not doing very well at the start of the race, but it's actually turned out to not be such a bad result. Although we're not finished yet, it could still get worse at this point. Coming down towards the hairpin for the third and final time. Looking for our braking zone just before that 300 board. Looking at the inside, and I think the Ferrari just spotted me there. So actually he gives me plenty of space, quite nicely. So we're through with a clean manoeuvre into our favourite position of 6th place. But 5th place is well within sight. We could still get him before the end of the race into the little complex here. There's quite a complex set of corners, quite a tricky one to take and get right. The Porsche takes a little bit too much curb there, gets a bit of oversteer through mid-turn, and up the inside into this turn, I think it's turn 10. We are through the curb on the left-hand side there, thankfully not totally disastrous. That thing used to throw you about like a ragdoll on Forza 6, but now I think it's been fixed somewhat. Let's see if we can get a good little sector here and then get away, because we might be lacking straight line speed. If we don't get a big enough gap through this section, we might be vulnerable into the final turn. But thankfully through there, nailing all of the corners, and then we get a decent enough gap so that we don't have to worry about defending into the final turn. We do eventually finish 5th, so not a total disaster in the end. We finally move to noobery, or noob desert, depending on how you want to call it. Now this corner, I'm going to go to the outside, but I'm going to back out because I know that the outside is really where you don't want to be. That is why it's very clear. That's where everything washes out. If there's going to be a crash, it goes to the outside and you're just going to get collected. I just back out of that one. Luckily, somehow getting through there, riding just that one contact from behind. Thankfully not touching any other car though. Through in 5th place. We've gone for the Lamborghini Diablo SV once again. So very good in a straight line, but I might be lacking somewhat through the turns. Now this section coming up, there are a lot of very long, medium, slow corners. So this is going to be this car's kind of weakness. Going to move to the inside. The Ferrari's going to cut across though, so I'm going to give him the space. A couple of Lamborghinis here. So 3 Lamborghinis versus 1 Ferrari. I'll get tapped from behind, but it's not too bad. I have managed to correct that steer. Now this corner has horrible camber on the inside. You can see that it really does slope up on the inside. And that's kind of triggered this big slide through that corner. Get a bit of a bump from behind, but we managed to control the steer. And we've settled down into 3rd place. The Ferrari F40 on the inside there, a bit slow, and we're going to lose our mirror on the outside up into 2nd place, into the long 180-degree corner here at the end of the circuit. Well, one end of the circuit, not the final corner, of course. Through there, losing a little speed. You see there, the car not really responding to the medium speed long corners. But I think these corners here are a bit more open. It isn't as bad through here. I really do need some straights though. That is where this car is really going to excel, at least this tune by GTR Jeweler DT. Looking around the outside of the Countach, we've given each other not enough room, so no contact, which is good to see. Now into here, obviously way too quick, just about managed to keep it out of the barrier, And again, side by side with no contact. So clean racing, it is possible. It can happen, and it's happening here. So through the narrow section, he's actually going to go off onto the sand, and then the F50 is going to kind of shepherd me wide. I'm going to go all over the desert like a proper camel noob, and then this F40, sorry, is just going to bounce off the barrier, and well, I'm going to be on the receiving end. Actually, that guy, he actually helped me around there, and it kind of punted me back into a good, nice little drift through the tunnel. So actually, that contact really helped me out, because I was facing the wrong way for a moment there, and he kind of punted me back round. It's kind of saying, "Come on, mate, I'm going to help you round. Let's get going." So actually, that saved me a bit of time. So in 5th place, let's see if we can get a podium maybe from this. Into the first turn, maybe way too quick on the inside. The Lamborghini Countach. Oh man, I'm going to lose so much time from that, having to go around his outside as he was just spinning through the first turn. The F50 is going to take over and back into 5th place. So through the chicane, now this car's got a good straight line speed. This is probably the longest straight section of the circuit, so I've got to make the most of this as I'm roaring up here in 4th place, trying to gain as much as I can on the guy ahead, and of course get away from that F50 behind before he makes the most of his grip around this very cornery section, if that makes sense. A cornery section. I think that's quite a bad description really. Just lots of corners basically. And there's the F40 once again. Hopefully we can try and get back past him. It's going to be a battle to the end. I think 1st and 2nd, they've got a decent margin now of a couple of seconds at least. It's going to be very hard to catch them up, unless of course the entirely possibility occurs that they just kill each other. I mean, I'd say it's odds on that they kill each other. Most of the time it is in this game. In fact, I would say the driving standards in Forza 7 are typically worse than they have been in Forza 6. But I would say, normally, from what I've noticed in racing games, the driving standards are always worse at the beginning for 2 reasons really. One, because everyone's new to the game, getting used to it, and 2, because, well, the noobs kind of play it. All the beginners play it who aren't that interested, or maybe got it as a bundle or something. They play it and then they give up because it's not for them really. So once the game settled down after a couple of years, or at least a couple of months, you got the more familiar players who are much more interested in the game and really want to play it more long term. But at least, well, let's hope it does get better anyway, because it is a bit of a shambles at the moment in terms of driver quality. Although, having said that, you can find some very good drivers at the front of the pack, which is at the very start of the race. With the mixed grids at the start, it can be a total mess. The F40 there going a little bit wide through that kink. It was very wide there for the first lap, and that's what kind of triggered the accident a lap ago. Just running wide here to extend that run into the final turn in 3rd place. So it's going to be a podium at least. A nice recovery and after starting actually towards the back of the pack. So we're going to cross the line in 3rd place. The Diablo here, a good straight line speed car. Not always as good perhaps as the Ferrari F50, but it's a nice alternative, especially on straight line tracks. Noob City actually comes up there, so we can go from Noob Desert straight to Noob City. Nice stuff. But that is going to bring a close to the video. Hopefully we see some more hoppers coming up soon. I will try to jump in some other ones as well. I mean, Modern Hot Hatch, I'd like to give that one a try. But yeah, that is going to bring a close to the video. For those of you who may be interested, there is a 9-hour stream on my channel. I did 50 laps of the Nürburgring Nordschleife plus the GP version in one race. 50 laps. It took 7 hours 15 minutes. So if you'd like to check that out, it's on the channel. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Obviously subscribe if you'd like to see more, and hit the like button if you enjoyed. I shall see you next time. Goodbye.